Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're taking a look at Captain America and we're going to be tier 4ing him right here, right now. We're going to be testing him in PvP, and since we're testing him in PvP, straight off the bat, we're tier 4ing him. Nice, we finally have him at tier 4. With an improvement of 11,000 physical attack and almost 14,000 HP, we see a great improvement in his stats. Now the further we look into his stats, I have everything capped out and he's almost close to 100,000 physical attack. Additionally, he also takes advantage of the team up collection. Here's the rest of the build. I am using him with the authority at the moment, but you can also use him with a conquest or destruction. If you want a hybrid build, you can use a destruction, or you can also use a conquest for a tankier build. But authority I found was the perfect balance since it's not that expensive or not that rare. So yeah, I'm just going to be using him with authority. This is the team we're going to be running for timeline battle. I have a support build on Weapon Hex as I'm using a Brilliant Liberation on her. So yeah, let's get straight into it. We're starting off with timeline battle. I don't have high expectations for him in this specific game mode. I don't expect him to be good enough to compete against Sentry or the likes of Null, but I still think he can be usable in some cases. But yeah, as we sub him in, as instantly his immortality is triggered and he's not even able to get off any of his skills. Moving on to the second battle, I am up against a team that starts with Null. I instantly sub in Captain America and his immortality is triggered, but as soon as I trigger my second skill, Null's immortality is also triggered. That's a decent sign, honestly, up against a top meta, and we're actually able to kill Null off with Weapon Hex. Maybe that build wasn't that good, but I decided to fight the team again. This time I played it a little different and bought more time with Weapon Hex. As Captain America entered the arena, instantly I triggered his second skill and Null's immortality was triggered. I ran away to buy more time, and yeah, we were actually able to take him out. Now, with the lingering damage from our second skill, we ended up dying to Reflect. Now, we're up against a different team, this time around a Sentry double support. We buy more time with Weapon Hex and try to kill off the supports, starting with Hela. It's taking a bit longer than usual, but now we wait until Sentry kills our Weapon Hex off as he uses two of his meta skills. And even after we sub him in, the lingering damage from Sentry's fifth skill ends up taking my Captain America out. Bit of disappointed, but still, what can you do? That's the top meta. Now we're up against a bit of an unorthodox team. Silver Surfer to start off. We triggered the second skill to take him out. Now, Captain America's heal is his third skill, so that's a bit of an issue, because when you trigger his bread and butter skill, the second skill, which has ignore targeting, so iframe and penetration, he doesn't end up healing, so it affects his survivability negatively. But yeah, we did decently up against that team with our off-meta team. But now we're up against a double support Null team. I don't have high expectations for this team, but let's see how we do here. We again buy some time with Weapon Hex and wait for Null to use his meta skills. And we sub Captain America in and his immortality is instantly triggered. Even with the second skill, we're not able to deal enough damage to actually take Null out. Now up against another team. Here, same thing as usual, buying more time. So Captain America's skills are on cooldown. We trigger the second skill and it does nothing as we get iframe locked in his fifth skill. And we end up dying. Just as I expected, he's not that good against top metas. Occasionally he'll be able to take one of them out or like trigger one of their immortalities or take their first life, but overall he isn't going to be able to compete with the likes of Sentry and Null. So yeah, this I think is gonna be the last battle in timeline battle. We didn't win a single battle against these top metas. Maybe if we fight like teams in platinum or gold, we might be able to take a couple teams out, but like that's unrealistic. So yeah, let's see how this battle ends up. Again, buying more time, waiting for Null to enter the arena, and as soon as we trigger Captain America's second skill, we still end up getting iframe lock and end up dying. So yeah, that ends our testing for timeline battle. Now we can move on to team battle arena. I think Captain America is going to hold much higher value in this game mode because you can decide on putting him up against, off meta teams or like weaker teams, and I think he'll be able to perform decently. Regardless, he's going to be struggling up against the top metas. As you can see right now, he gets absolutely annihilated by a Sentry Wolverine team. So you have to work your way around your opponent's roster to get the maximum value for Captain America. But in this video, I'm testing him up against the top metas to see how he performs, and as we can see, he's struggling against two Sentry teams. Now we can move on to a Null team and see how he performs here. Null's burst damage is just way too much, and both my weapon hex and Captain America's immortality is triggered pretty easily, and even Captain America dies before weapon hex and we end up just losing. And lastly, this is a team that I would consider like mid to high tier meta only because of Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is insane, and he also has type advantage over Captain America. Even though we were able to take out his first life, we just didn't end up winning that battle. That ends our testing for team battle arena. I didn't go too extensive into it. Now we can move on to Otherworld battle. This is the game mode where I think he'll shine the most, specifically for PvP. This is a no restriction season, so in this segment of the testing, you're gonna see him struggle a lot against Sentries, Nulls, Silver Surfers, and Wolverines. And even though they did survive a pretty decent amount in this battle specifically, my Sentry and Null had to do the heavy lifting at the end for us to actually pull off a win. Now we can move on to our second battle. Let's see how they perform here. It's a bit of a weaker start as Strife and Silver Surfer. We take out Silver Surfer's first life, but our immortality is triggered and we end up dying to Adam Warlock. Again, Sentry and Null have to do the heavy lifting at the end. And we do actually end up winning, but Captain America and Weapon Hex didn't really contribute too much to the battle. To fix that issue, I waited 2 weeks for the right restrictions. Now that the top metas are out of the question, now we can face teams on equal footing. I set up the team in such a way that Captain America deals the final blow, so he's all the way at the end, while the rest of my team works their way to beat down the team. As soon as Captain America walks in, he can take out whatever is left over of the team. We're back on our winning ways. Now let's move on to the next battle. These restrictions genuinely make Otherworld battle very fun. Now, the more broader your PvP roster gets, the more fun you can have in this game mode, and the stronger you get in this game mode. As my team shreds the opponent team in pieces, I wait for Captain America to hop in. But yeah, just as I was saying, this is genuinely really fun, experimenting with different teams and having fun with your roster. So yeah, Captain America's in, and instantly he takes out Rachel Summer and we end up winning the battle. Not surprising, because I genuinely expected him to excel when there is not too much of a competition up against the absolute top metas. Even though I did try him in the front in the place of Weapon Hex, I think the team just performs better in this dynamic. Yeah, as we can see, we're up against a Captain America and we end up taking him out because he does not have Weapon Hex. So I need to emphasize the value of Weapon Hex on Captain America's overall value, because without Weapon Hex, Captain America is not usable in PvP. Now, he does have PvE value without her, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend using him without her in PvP. So yeah, for the final battle, we're up against a bit of a different team. Quicksilver to start. His type advantage actually takes out my Weapon Hex, and Captain America's in, and Captain America's type advantage against Spider-Man actually helps him take out the team. That ends our testing. I'm generally very happy with the results because I didn't really expect him to be the best, but he's still very good and usable, and he's really fun. He's been known as the jack of all trades because of his versatility and usability overall. He's really good for PvP, he's very tanky, has decent damage along with penetration already in his kit. He's proc friendly for PvE and holds decent value as an alliance battle character, as a combat villain. So yeah, overall, I think he's a dub. The only cons that come to my mind are Weapon Hex being a must for him to be usable in PvP, and Weapon Hex is a paywall character. That's a big issue for a lot of you guys, but yeah, other than that, he can't really compete with the top metas. But overall, he's really good, and I really enjoyed him. That also means we finally have a complete Zombies PvP team, including Captain Marvel, Captain America, and Weapon Hex. So yeah, I plan on testing them out together and seeing how they perform in the future. But that's it for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed or found it helpful, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Also, I've unlocked channel memberships. If you want to support the channel and get some exclusive perks like account reviews and early video access and members only polls and a lot more, hit that join button below and become a full-time member of the channel. Appreciate y'all for watching and have a great one, guys. Peace.